Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Jill and Dennis are off tonight. A passing cold front means we're in for a cold and wet weekend in western Montana. Untitled Chapter weather team says we are going to see some rain and even some mountain snow in higher elevations, and temperatures will be noticeably cooler, only topping out in the 40s. For the latest, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost. Aaron?
Yeah, we've gotten a taste of what's to come this upcoming weekend today with some higher elevation snow and valley rain snow mix, at least some of us this afternoon. We've actually seen temperatures decrease throughout the day as this cold front has made its push into the region. You can see the radar pretty lit up right now with the scattered mainly mountain snow and valley rain. Things will taper off very slowly into the overnight hours and the first part of your Saturday. So if you need to do anything outside, I think that's your window, because by Saturday evening throughout the day on Sunday, lingering into Monday morning, we're in for a lot of wet weather. I've got all those details coming up shortly.
All right, thank you, Aaron. And to keep an eye on changing weather conditions across western Montana, all you need is a mobile device. Just download the KPAX Storm Tracker Weather app to get on-the-go forecasts from our Storm Tracker Weather team. It's free in the Google Play or App Store. And late last night, Montana's Commissioner for Political Practices found evidence to suggest that the Lisa Tripke for Mayor campaign violated Montana campaign finance laws. Violations included filing incomplete and inaccurate campaign filing reports. The Missoula mayor candidate says she and her campaign are working hard to resolve this issue and address the reasons why the violations happened. In a written statement, Tripke said, quote, "Since I am beginning the process today, I don't have comments on the specifics of the report. I'm ready to make things right. It is a confusing process, but I am working as quickly as possible to resolve it." The next step for the Office of Political Practices is to determine whether or not a fine will be imposed or if charges will be filed against the campaign. Tripke is running against incumbent Missoula Mayor John Engen in the November 7th election. In Montana, hunting is a big tradition and has a long history in the state. This weekend marks the beginning of big game hunting for the state of Montana. Beginning Saturday, October 21st, hunters will be able to begin hunting for big game until November 26th. Just some of the big game animals include moose, elk, deer, bears, and bighorn sheep. Northwest Montana is known for its whitetail deer hunting, and Kalispell Cabela's retail marketing manager, Chad Kim, says the store has seen more traffic lately with hunting season opening tomorrow.
Even just last night, there was a really long line at the customer service counter. There are a lot of people that are getting their tags last minute, asking for special tags and whatnot. So that's definitely ramped up traffic for us, and there's a lot of people coming in, bringing rifles in to get scopes mounted and whatnot. So kind of the last minute odds and ends are definitely attracting people to the store here.
And of course, all hunters must be legally licensed before doing any sort of hunting. And hunters describe the Bitterroot Valley as vibrant and diverse. With hunting season beginning at the same time as a storm that's going to be rolling in, the Forest Service is encouraging people to take precautions. MTN's Lauren Heiser has the story.
We're beginning to see winter weather in the Bitterroot Valley, and with hunting season right around the corner, people are gearing up to not only deal with the snow, but the effects of fire season as well. The fires left behind many risks that hunters should be aware of. Standing dead trees are at high risk of falling during harsh winds. Tree roots may have been burned underground, creating unexpected holes. Areas that are now free of vegetation are at risk of mudslides. The Forest Service encourages people to stay away from burned areas, but not to let this ruin your hunting trip.
I certainly wouldn't advocate not going out. This is a big, important tradition here in western Montana, but it's just something that people need to be prepared for, especially if they've got young kids and it's a family outing.
The Forest Service released a list of safety precautions to make sure that you and your family are prepared. Treat every firearm as if it was loaded. Know where your hunting partners are at all times and never assume that you're alone. Leave a trip itinerary with family and friends. Bring a charged cell phone, but know that you won't always have service. The Forest Service encourages folks to stop by their office to get a Bitterroot National Forest map. The maps are split into the north and south halves of the forest, and each are sold for $10. Office hours are 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. Now back to you.
All right, thank you, Lauren. You can also download forest visitor maps onto your phone or tablet using the Avenza PDF map app. The app tracks your location using your device's GPS, and it also allows you to measure distances or areas and records waypoints so you can find your way back to that secret hunting spot. And there's good news if you're hoping to get a visit to Glacier National Park this fall. One of the park's most scenic alpine highways will partially reopen this weekend. The Going to the Sun Road will reopen to Avalanche from the west entrance by noon tomorrow. The road is currently accessible on the east side from St. Mary's entrance to Rising Sun. The road has been previously closed at Apgar on the west side due to Sprague fire activity over the summer, and then due to a large culvert replacement project several miles up the lake. A significant amount of construction will still be occurring along this road opening, some of which was delayed during the fire and must now occur before winter. Visitors can expect intermittent one-lane traffic and delays between Apgar and Avalanche. And in Lake County, the great need for more jail capacity has the Sheriff's Office coming up with creative ways to meet the need. The jail is so packed that people are waiting years to serve sentences that might only take a couple of days.
They may only owe a day or 2 days, and so they have to call in 2-3 times a week to the jail every week to find out whether there's room in the jail to serve their time.
There are less than 50 beds in the jail, and the sheriff says those are typically filled with violent offenders or people with more serious charges. They came up with a program that is utilizing a Montana law to help people get their time served and over with. People with nonviolent misdemeanors can work an 8-hour service day with community service, which equals 1 day of jail time. They've been doing it for a few months now, and the sheriff says the program has been well received.
They get to come in, they actually get to see what they've accomplished, and then they get their time done, and it gets off their back.
Participants have volunteered in a local animal shelter, picked up trash, among other tasks, and they are technically booked in and out of the jail for the day and remain in police custody during their service. As Republicans in Congress race towards trying to pass sweeping tax cuts, Montana's 2 U.S. senators were on opposite sides of the key vote Thursday night. Republican Steve Daines voted yes for the budget resolution that passed 51-49, setting up the path towards a tax cut bill, and Democrat Jon Tester voted no. MTN chief political reporter Mike Dennison explains their votes and where they stand now.
U.S. Senator Steve Daines is a big supporter of the Republican tax cut plans. He told Fox News this week it's the most important legislation Congress can pass this year and will juice the economy and bring capital back to America from overseas.
We got to set aside the minor differences, step back and look at the big picture here of what this means right now for the American worker, for American jobs, for global competitiveness. It's time to give the American worker a pay increase. We can do that by delivering a tax cut.
51 Republicans, including Daines, voted Thursday for a budget resolution allowing projected revenue to be lowered by $1.5 trillion over the next decade, the expected cost of the tax cuts. Democratic Senator Jon Tester voted no. He said the resolution calls for cutting crucial health care programs like Medicare and is meant to fast-track tax cuts that mostly benefit the very wealthy. It allows the Senate to pass a tax cut plan with 50 votes instead of the filibuster-breaking 60 votes. Tester said he wants to pass a tax reform bill, but that it has to be the right one.
The tax reform bill, hopefully we can get that done before the first year, but like I said, it's got a long way to go before it hits prime time. But I hope it does get done. I think we need tax reform in this country, but it's got to be tax reform that's well thought out and really delivers for the American people.
Tester says he's concerned that Republicans will pass a tax cut bill that blows another hole in the federal deficit. Daines, however, said he doesn't think the tax cut plan will add to the deficit. He's arguing it will actually increase revenue by creating higher economic growth.
So if we have a $1.5 trillion reduction in rates overall over the course of the next 10 years, but we bump the GDP growth up to 2.5–3%, that more than pays for itself. It actually creates surpluses. We add revenues.
Economists are certainly split on whether that logic applies to big tax cuts. One thing to keep in mind, we've yet to see an actual tax cut bill with specific changes in tax rates or deductions. Once we do, we'll analyze what it really means for Montana taxpayers. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And Republican leaders in Congress say a bill could be ready for debate by early next month. Montanans with travel plans this holiday season will be able to board flights with their Montana driver's license. Montana received a 1-year extension this week for Real ID compliance from the Department of Homeland Security. MTN's Nicole Miller has more.
As Montanans prepare for the busy holiday season just around the corner, they have one less thing to worry about.
Montana has received an extension from the Department of Homeland Security in terms of Real ID.
That means as of right now, you can use your Montana driver's license at TSA security checkpoints to board domestic commercial flights. The extension is good for 1 year.
Montana's situation will be reviewed by the department, and another decision will be made as to whether or not there will be a further extension.
The Montana Motor Vehicles Division will use the time to increase staff and acquire equipment needed. If you are planning on traveling this holiday season, making sure you only have the items you need can save you time.
By making sure you bring only items that can go past the security checkpoint, it's going to save you time. It's going to save you the unpleasant task of learning that you had something in your bag that you didn't know that you had.
Reporting in Kalispell, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
In October of 2018, the MVD plans to request another extension, but is on track to begin issuing Real ID compliant cards by 2019. Congress passed the Real ID Act in 2005 following the 9/11 terror attacks. And coming up on Montana's news station, construction will impact your commute in Whitefish next week, what you need to know. In our Salute to Service report, meet an employee at Kalispell Regional Medical Center who works with athletes in schools across the Flathead Valley. Coming up.